China's state media is reporting in the last few minutes that its military has fired a test launch of a strategic missile from a submarine in the South Pacific. The report goes on to say that the missile test used a dummy warhead and it landed in designated waters of the Pacific. The Chinese government had earlier, as we discussed, informed governments in the region about its intention to test. It would appear that that has now happened. Our Foreign Affairs reporter Stephen Jedgetz is covering this for us. He's in Suva. What more do you know, Stephen?
Look, not much more than that at this stage, Lorna. As you say, we have been hearing today that a number of governments around the region, including New Zealand and Australia, were warned earlier today by the Chinese embassy in those countries that it was intending to conduct a missile test. Now, just before we spoke here, the Foreign Minister Penny Wong gave a brief press conference. She didn't provide many details about the test, but she said it was from a water-based platform. Now, the report that you've just read out just then from Xinhua, from Chinese state media, seems to confirm that this was a missile, a long-range missile, with a dummy warhead on it, launched from a submarine, at least according to Chinese state media. So different perhaps to some of the other missile tests that we've seen in the region before. Nonetheless, this is something that is likely to draw quite a bit of attention across the region, and probably negative attention too. In 2024, when China tested a ballistic missile in the region, Australia, Fiji, New Zealand and Palau all voiced serious concerns. And the message from the Foreign Minister, speaking not long ago here in Suva, was very similar, saying that the act of China in apparently launching this missile, that it was not an act of peace and not a strategy that was consistent with the idea of an ocean of peace, which has been promoted by Fiji's Prime Minister, Sitiveni Rabuka. Let's take a listen to what the Foreign Minister had to say.
Australia has been clear with China that we regard this as destabilising to the region. Australia has been clear that this proposed test is in the context of a rapid military build-up by China, which is lacking in the transparency and reassurance as to intent that the region expects. I would make this point. The Pacific Islands Forum leaders have made clear that they want the Pacific to be an ocean of peace. We believe this test is inconsistent with that objective.
We know military operations are planned weeks, months in advance, Stephen, but you can't ignore the optics of Fiji and Australia signing this military pact and then China launching a missile.
Yeah, I mean, the optics here are very, very clear. And unsurprisingly, a lot of people are connecting the two events, saying this is China very much sending a message in the wake of this signing of the Ocean of Peace Alliance. Of course, it is worth pointing out, though, as you say, this would have been something that the Chinese military would have been planning for a long time, weeks, if not months. The ships, for example, that are tracking this, the satellite ships, they would have left port in late June at some point like that. So it's not like China has organised this indirect response. That's simply not possible. And there is a broader rationale that China is engaging in these tests for. It wants to send a very clear signal to the US and others in the region about its growing military capabilities. All of that said, though, the synchronicity here, the fact that the notification was handed in and apparently, according to Chinese state media, the test launched on the very day this treaty was signed, well, even if it wasn't entirely deliberate, the symbolism is pretty hard to miss.